Hello, lovely people. I just felt like quickly saying, just before I get into one, I got a big scar in the middle of my head. It happened about 18 months ago. I'm not going to go into a massive story about it now. But yeah, if you're wondering what that is in the middle of my forehead, and I've tried having a fringe, like believe me, when it first happened, I cut myself in a fringe about this short. And then when it sprung up, because I cut it wet, and then it was like literally showing the scar the whole time anyway, and I got one of those cow flicks right in the middle, so it's just meant to be. Okay, so if you yeah, I thought about trying to get Botox on the NHS or something and pleading like, please freeze my forehead. And when it first happened, I thought I couldn't move any of my eyebrows because I got really movie eyebrows. I can't move them like I used to be able to. Oh God, stop doing that. Can't do that over 30. And I thought I was going to have a paralysed forehead for a while. I thought, yes, maybe it won't move on its own. But yeah, I just thought I'd explain that I'm going through a bit of a transition myself. I have gone through a transition where I lost all my confidence. Now I've just had to embrace aging, embrace the scar. I had quite a smooth forehead. At one point I started to convince myself it's making my eyebrows drop, but you know, it could be worse, and I'm lucky because I had 11 stitches, and it could have hit. I could have lost my eye or something, you know. So it can always be worse. Hang on, let's put a blanket on because yeah. But basically, what I was trying to do a video about, and I seem to have lost my point straight away, is everything is timeless, okay? And everything is a projection. And we are down here made of all the same energy, just numbers and energy floating around and making us look solid. Everything is timeless. So when you heal yourself now, you're healing all of your ancestors. You're healing the whole of time. It's basically time travel, okay? Believe me, like 7-8 years ago, I felt this in my heart my whole life. I think I'm a mystic, hiding in the background. Well, not hiding in the background. 7 or 8 years ago, I had a massive event happen to me on Glastonbury Festival grounds, actually, and it built up for a whole year and a half. I knew something was coming. I've always been connected to my head. I've never, maybe another story about that one day, that I blocked it when I was 3, which I think a lot of us do, is seen a dead man, and I blocked it, and was built with fear, because that's the one. You have love and fear, and I went down a fear thing, and I was so scared of ghosts and the mystical world, but just fascinated as well. At one point I even wanted to be a pathologist when I was 10. I've just been fascinated with the deaf, you know. And then now I live opposite a church and have a big black death mound outside, and that's another story basically. But what I'm trying to get to, in 2016 I was actually going to become, I had 2 children, and I was in my mid-20s, and I'd written like loads of songs, and I was into hardcore rave and stuff when I was little. That's why I've been putting up some hardcore songs, because I do like to I don't even really listen to hardcore anymore, but it's still connected to my inner child and my freedom. But yeah, I convinced myself that I could be an MC in like dirty raves, and it wasn't really going to be quite right for me, right? So I was in a rave in a toilet, and I was ready. I was about to MC, basically. I'd made up quite a few connections, and I was going to come out and go, yeah, you know, to like, yeah, and I chickened out. Well, no, I didn't chicken out. I was in the toilet, and goddess Isis came to me on the toilet in a big black ancient symbol, man, and all I seen was her eyes. I'd never even heard of her before, really. I researched her after and on the internet and found out a lot. It's always after when you look, and thank God we've got the internet now that we can look back and research when we go through things. And Isis was really in the air, the name Isis in the human consciousness at the point for terrorists, wasn't it? But I started to understand that, hang on a minute, there's been a miss here between the media or whatever's being projected right now, that I learned that Isis goddess energy from Egypt was being brought down to the planet. I had crows contacting me. I seen the energy torus of the body, you know, and then everything I kept seeing, I kept going back to research. And then I got a call to go to Glastonbury more and more. I'd always gone to Glastonbury. It's near me. but I was following my intuition fully. Like, well, I've always followed it. But I made a decision to collect up certain stones, put them in certain places when I was asked, and I just tried to follow my heart. Yeah. There's so much layers to a story, and I am going to go on because it's so hard to explain. But basically, once I got into Glastonbury Festival in 2017, I'd gone the year before and had quite a normal year. Yeah, by the Saturday night, I had not much sleep, and it is wild there, especially if you let yourself go there. And it's connected. Back then, it used to be right on the summer solstice. And if you look, 2017 was a really important year for the age of Aquarius coming in, the 7 Salems, 7 signs of America, Trump becoming president was basically written in the Bible. It was the last Trump, and then blah, blah, right? So it's all coming together like prophets and futurists have said in the past. By Saturday, I went on one in my head, right? And I'm not going to, I was a little bit out there, but not like to the extreme amount you maybe could. It was just more that the music was getting in my system. I'd put my tent right on the ley line with the tour. We walked in the festival, and actually we got in that year without a ticket, okay? Should I really have said that? But yeah, we got in that year without a ticket. It was years ago, okay? It was years ago. We just didn't manage to get a ticket, and we got in, okay? We did pay, we did pay, but we got in, and we came into the festival through the top of the pyramid field and just sort of landed our little tent that we used to have back then right next to a bin, because no one wants to go next to a bin, but it's quite a clean bin, you know. If you bring to Glastonbury, they do change the bins. But yeah, we were right on a bin, and we were right in level. We could just see the tour, and the pyramid is in line with the tour, and it's in line with the pyramids of Egypt. And Winston Churchill's granddaughter actually organised that. It's another story. But yeah, the hippies, you know, from back in the 70s. That's you know, it's all important. Why you need to do your research of what Glastonbury is. Okay, I'm going to just throw it right out there. Jesus Christ is buried there. King Solomon, the story of King Arthur. The tide is very high around Somerset in that area, and all of Somerset used to be underwater, the surrounding areas, and the Romans and the monks dug ditches out, and it's like a land that is totally flat, and it used to be islands, and then Glastonbury Tor used to stick up, and it was like a river, and all the boats, they've got Hinkley Point Station near here, because it's like one of the biggest tides in the world, basically, and it comes round, and it pushes everything into Glastonbury, basically, and it's been doing that forever, since this, where the ocean goes, so forever. Saints, people have been buried in Glastonbury, okay? Even Henry VIII knocked down Glastonbury Abbey because it was doing better than Westminster. It's all different stories for different days. So this is why I've started my programme, okay? I really want to clear my throat. I might actually, no, I'm not going to pause because I don't really know how to restart it. But basically, once I got back into Glastonbury Festival in 2017, it was the middle of the night, and we're in the tent, and my partner, he always falls asleep, bless him. He's like the groundedness of my extreme. He never listens to me. I'm surrounded by people that don't listen to me. But in 2016, I was in my tent, 2017, I was in my tent on my own, and I started to hear, stay in, and sort of connect up with these people next to me that are in the tent. I had a feeling that they were on ketamine, and we were like hooked up. And they're experiencing the same thing too. And it was like, stay in. And I seen everybody fluff off to a higher vibration if they did not accept the dark. And I seen the dark burn off into like, just boil over, right? So souls chose to just stay dark, you know, that we all love bass, yeah? Big, and actually the song they burnt out was like, big, dirty, stinking bass, dirty, but then it got really heavy and it just sort of boiled them and they were all satisfied. And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? This is after all this stay in stuff. And then all these people that we thought they were too pure, like maybe the gurus that are like, won't accept any dark, they sort of burnt off into the light. And that was like, you know, they died that way. And I was like, bloody hell. And then there was all these middleists that had to stay in and find the middle and align themselves. So I thought, bloody hell, that was a mental night in my tent, right? Mental night in my tent. And then I knew something was going to happen maybe the next day. Me and my partner were falling out all the next day. I took it very heavy at the time, but now I realised that I was meant to be put into a large amount of stress that whole Sunday, where I didn't really eat. I hadn't slept the whole night before, and getting into a shamanic state, I suppose. He kept running away from me in the festival, and we didn't even have any phones. It was just one of those days, right? And I kept getting lost, and it's just an exhausting day. But by the end of the festival, by the end of Ed Sheeran's set that was on that year, I just seemed to go into what he had. Ed Sheeran did like a shamanic drumming. He did, it's the set that made him famous. He did a huge tour after it, and he was drumming away with that, the pedal and that, and it was like, it just went mad, and it seemed to just boom. I went into a paradigm, basically, a timeless paradigm, and I started to see spaceships. Quickly whip up the story a little bit. My partner wanted to leave there, and then it was Sunday night, and I was like, I'm not leaving. And then all the people on the way out were saying, you should leave. And I was saying, he's still drunk. We can't leave. We need to have some sleep and rest. I'm not leaving. This is dangerous, right? And they basically, for some reason, they were trying to make me leave. I was starting to get intuition and stuff about not leaving. Jake's mind wouldn't join me, my partner. So in the end, I had this feeling in my bones that I just dropped my bag and I ran back into the festival and just ran off on my own, with a pillow and a red cowboy hat on. Then I found this white tent, and I said to this white tent, a small tent, they said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm ready to receive the message of Avalon, right? It just came into my head. And then they said, well, go then. And I said, I will. And then I need to cut this a bit short. I went into a world basically where it took me a while to get this headset connected up with the angels. I believe the angels had come through on a portal that evening to sort basically the breakup between the devil and the good, because of as much as we see it as a big problem on earth and we're scared shitless of it all, in angel minds, it's just a fallout, and he was naughty. You see, he's not actually evil. He just wanted to take control of creation, and we've seen it as this huge, we take fear so seriously, but it is actually just love stuck, it's all of our fears. So basically I went into one where I was seeing aliens. I was running around, I was hearing people's souls rather than what they were saying. They were talking to me, but they weren't talking to me, and I was running away from people. I was like almost running through walls. I seen myself go into like a power legs and ran up the pyramid stage and grabbed it. I had people, the low vibe frequencies trying to stop me, and then I managed to hook my head up with like an angel headset thing, and they kept guiding me to do the right thing, look at the right pinpoint, and we had to trick the negativeness that was trying to scare the shit out of me. Basically, it was just my inner fears playing out in a shamanic way, like we all have, because we are all one. You see, we are all one person. God is a disco ball, and he's reflecting into us all. Okay, and it takes your head a long time to get your head around that one. You've got to let it sink in. But it is true. We are all connected to one brain. We just don't bloody know it yet, due to all of our ties, all of our ancestral fears. We just don't know our power, and we all know that, yeah? So there I am, hooked up with these angels, talking to me, telling me where to look, telling me where to run. I'm sort of running through walls. I hear the messages of the marijuana goddess, all sorts going through, all of the paradigms of the past. Had these large messages about the NHS was going to make a massive movement, and how I bumped into this boy that said he was Raphael, and he healed me. And I was almost coming into a state, I think, with my heart rate was getting so fast, and I was sweating, and I hadn't had a drink, that I might have nearly been in a place close to like, almost like death, maybe, I don't know. I was 27, so I probably wasn't going to die, but I think I was under extreme stress. And he stopped me. He said, it's okay, you're in a break space right now. We've made a loop for you to stop. And I thought, what's going on? I was just frantic. And he healed me. We did a few handshakes. He got me back on good vibe. We did some handshakes, are magical. And he said, right, calm down. You're going to do the rest of the mission. He told me to hold on to the pillow because of the cotton would protect my energy, sort of absorb the good energy. And he said, right, you're nearly done, okay? Just keep going, okay? So that I left that base, wherever it was in the festival, and I just kept running and just bumping into like alien faces saying no. I was feeling, I have a Native American granddad, I believe, and I was shouting out old paradigm words, Ada Grande, and all this. I don't, mental, right? Absolutely bloody mental. And then finally, I even seen my partner's soul at the top of the pyramid stage, and he grabbed me and pulled me up, and he was like in the car, phoning the police, reporting a lost person at the time. But I seen him grab me and pull me up the pyramid stage. And then I was running down one of the tracks, and then I bumped into a group of people, and they said, there's a party over here. Come on, there's a party over here. Come on. It could have been about 300 people. And and they calmed me down. They all started shaking hands, saying they were from different galactic areas. St. Michael was there with his armor suit on. These people couldn't have been there, I believe. I was like stuck in a timeless travel paradigm, like, I don't know. And we were all just meeting up. And Mika was there, Gabriel, everyone, and all these people from extraterrestrial places saying, yes, here it is, and they were so angelic and young. And they asked me who I was, and I said I was in the Godhead state. And they were all carrying different levels of energy. And we sat down, and we did a meditation. They helped me say the right words, because my head was in God state, which we can all reach, by the way, okay? All of us, more than ever now, 7 years later. I reached a God state, and they told me to flip and reverse the poles, and they were telling that the right words had to come out of my mouth. They asked me to accept the dark in me, and I admitted it was there. I admitted that, like it is all of us, that we are all one, and it was there. We were all really elevated. I don't know if these people were even real. I never found them after 2017. The internet wasn't quite as hooked up, I was left with a last group of people, and I had to say the words now, unity now. They wanted me to say the word unity now, okay? So we were saying all of this. And then I had the devil, this poor boy. I don't know if he was a boy or an angel. He was dressed so beautifully. He was the devil. I was with Gabriel and this angel called Mika, which I later found out was the Unity angel of Canada, Unity. And she reminded me of a time where our consciousnesses were planets bumping around, going like a massive, it was like rave, heavy, bang, bang, bang. She said, can you remember when we were planets? And I could just remember with all my memory of being a planet. And basically, I just spat. Me and the devil, we forgave each other. I forgave the devil as well as I sat in God's head and he was in the devil's head. We hugged, we forgave, and Gabriel gave us a song to sing to soothe it, saying, hey yo, Nirvana, hey yo. And he was drumming off, do 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 do, because that's the heaviness. We all love the heaviness. And we admitted to ourselves that we love the devil, and the devil's in all of us. We love the devil. He's not as bad as we've maybe made out. He is the art. He is the rebel, right? But he is still part of the God, he's still God's creation. Okay, and he said he'd gone, he knows the frequencies go lower and lower and lower, and there's no end to it. So he said he wanted to come back, right? And we had to let him back. And I'm not going to go into much more, but I did say I left them. We said, he said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go and find my egg, which is my partner, by the way, egg. And then I somehow managed to get out of the festival. As I passed the festive pyramid stage, I heard lead singer of Foo Fighters, what's his name, David Grohl, say, well done, Danny, you were like one light higher than I am. And I thought, well, and it took me ages to get out of the festival and come down a few levels. I kept hearing, all of this was ignited through pylon energy, by the way. It was the pylons that like the fizzing of the pylons, and some people love the fizz of the dark, it's not, blah, blah, blah. But basically I got out of there. I went round and roundabout twice. As I got out of there, I found my partner. It was a miracle that I found him. I went round and roundabout twice, seen the same Avalon roundabout, like as you're coming out of Glastonbury, and then seen the modern McDonald's looking all like with different, like it is now, with the different logo, it calmed its colours down, it used less colour. I seen all of this on the way home, and when this happened, like when McDonald's changed its logo and stuff, I was like, look, I knew this. And I came home with all this stuff, like, I knew this, I went through this, I went through that, I was God, I was this, right? And everybody thought I was absolutely bloody insane, because I'm surrounded by people that do not think like this. I've gone right into one, but basically I think now that what happened on that festival ground is, it could have happened in different places all around the world, around these times, with different people reaching God state, is now reflecting back. It is written in many prophets, it's written back. From this point onwards, I'm willing to work hard to sell the message that, it's already done. There will be heaven on earth, okay? It might take up to about 7 years, but we can concentrate on fear and old paradigms, the war, everything that's being shown, or we can concentrate on the fact that we are in a bloody new age, and the internet is amazing, and we are all connected, and this is the Christ consciousness that they writ about. This is the network we're creating as we're all talking to each other and exchanging our energy and our stories, and they're not as crazy as they were years ago, okay? It's all becoming so much easier, and I'm sure there's many more people that feel like me and have been through things like me, where they have seen more than they would wish to see, maybe. But I came out of the Glastonbury Festival and I'd fought every fear paradigm in me, and I've woke up, Jesus is with me always. He's buried in Glastonbury, I'm sure. It all takes steps, guys. And one of my biggest steps, I was very, very dark when I was young. Just stuck in the darkness, stuck in fear. You reach out for Jesus. Anytime I feel scared now, I call on Saint Michael the Archangel. Please protect please protect me. And it does help. You've got to ignite your imagination into a positive way. I would love to share the patterns of how I feel like this. Well, basically, it's light work. It's light workers' work, and I'm trying to I'm trying to give you the energy back of what I've experienced. I feel like everybody rubs off on each other, and we all need to, us empaths that have been sitting in the background, need to start rubbing off. And the world is beautiful, it's full of opinions, but the main important part is we're all trying to heal. We're trying to heal our ancestral lines, we're trying to heal the damage. And forgiveness is the future, guys, because there will always be fallouts, but it does not cause anything if we are always just concentrating on our fear and our judgment. We are bigger than our thoughts, and we're bigger than our judgment, and we all are all part of the divine brain, and whatever you want to call it. So that's my message, and I'm going to cut it there. But as you can see, when anyone tries to explain anything like this, it always looks insane. We will get there where it's more easy to receive. And even if you're looking at this and you're thinking, God, this is absolutely crazy, at least you're thinking about it, and you've even absorbed some of it. And I tell you why you're doing that as well, because the human brain doesn't like to be told anything, and it's not good for the human brain to be told anything. You need to find these things out for yourself. So work hard at where's your starting point, and start, because the world's got 7 years to heal, I'd say, and it is going to heal in the right direction. Promise you. Like, I think it's been written for a very long time, and I think that what happens up there reflects down on here, and it is going to be reflected. It's timeless. The world is timeless. You are one. Unity is now. Just remember that you are basically a computer. Your head is connected to God, and just try and remember that, like anything, when you're at the other side, it just doesn't seem so serious. And so I'm going to leave it there, and I'm dedicated to this movement. Follow me, message me for information, how to open your throat chakra, heart chakra. Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the world. The world is alive just like us. I'm even doing those silly hands that people do when they're talking sense. No? But message me. I'm going to leave my details. This movement's going to be real, mate, and it's happening. And if it's not happening from me, it's happening from other people. And it takes a lot of guts to get to this point of being able to speak, because a lot of people like me have had closed throats for a very long time. Anytime I tried to speak to anyone, I used to sweat. I just couldn't, you know. So work for your blockages, guys. Remember to breathe. What's calling you? Sometimes your first movement is self-damage, but just be aware of what you're doing and try and go through your healing, you know, step by step. Music, walks, nature, light, feeding yourself, water, all the things you bloody know are sensible that you might feel resistance to. But check out why you're feeling resistance and work on it, babes. Work on it, babes. No. Oh, do you want to see the dog? So that's what I always say as well. Try and take notes of your dogs. Look how chill the dog is, man. You know, we're in a system where we have been bred to believe that we have to work our asses off for the system. But you can work your asses off for your heart just as much. Look at me today. No, I'm joking. No, God bless you all. God bless you all. Bless you. Like, bless you with your whatevers, you know. But much love and light. And I'm going to get outside. I could do some yoga, man. I might have a few beers later, you know. We're all human beings, mate. And don't pretend you're better than anybody, because we're all one. Cheers. Donkey teeth. Make sure you pull faces in the mirror. Sometimes that's the first place you can start, you know. If you're taking life too seriously, just, wake up. Smell the coffee. Cheers.